What do you think about this? Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea for the state to take over? Nope, not a good idea. Oh, you said no, Jedediah wouldn't be there. The comments come to me slower than they come to you. Do you think so, Trina? You don't have to answer that now. I know that's a loaded question for a person who actually lives there, pays taxes, raises your children, you know, interacts with all of these departments on a regular basis. But we really got to think about it, because we might be so hell-bent on keeping a vanity government, but I'm tired of Dalton. I would really rather these meetings become so much more boring so I can go on about my life. Because truth be told, even if there was corruption in Dalton, if it wasn't so exciting, nobody would care. There's corruption going on in all these villages, but nobody's covering all of their meetings because they're not exciting. Right. Jason mumbling all over the I want to do a superseding motion. Olivia's. So all I know is the federal officer I just met in the community, 5 ACL, and Shirley has sweat about Torate. I like to hear that. That's good stuff. That makes me happy. That's what you just heard come out of my spirit. That's what I just said. That makes me happy. Okay. Okay. Come on, choose.
One or two people, or vice versa. Jason House would get in, possibly be able to appoint everybody, but would they? Either way, and that's my point. We're not even gonna get into this Tiffany versus who, but whoever gets in, would they be the ones to appoint, or would it be the Democratic Party who would help guide those decisions? And who are those players? That's not what this video is for. We're going to focus on the board meeting right here, where they're telling you the state is coming to take over.
Yep.
I think that if it's not done, the state could take over.
Sure.
So if they're doing what the state could do, why would the state come in? That's all I'm asking.
You confused me there.
You said that
if what now?
If the board
right
doesn't make a suggestion to do the tax levy
right.
and so forth, the state could come in and take over.
Correct.
You said the states can do the same thing that they can do. So
absolutely, they can do it. They can do it, and they can double what I just said.
Okay. So if
they can say no more paramedic service for the village of Dalton.
Okay.
That's a luxury.
Y'all didn't know
I think it's a luxury. I think it's a necessity.
Less than half the state lives without paramedics.
Did you know that?
If the state came in, because whether or not we could pay our bills.
Listen, Mr. Cantonelli, what's his name? Choose. Can you put it in the chat? Mr. Cannoli is like, niggas, you broke. Hiram, how'd you say it? I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke. I don't say that kind of shit because I'm not, and I'm grateful to not be. But literally, y'all are Concar. Is that how you say it? Cancar. These niggas are so. When you spend all your money on looking good, then at some point you look up and be like, I don't have shit. He's frustrated with her. He about to smack the shit out of her. I'm so glad it's not the 40s. He'd have been like, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to tell you, you broke. I'm so glad, sometimes I'm glad I had tough parents. My parents use real words around the house like broke, dumb, stupid. Thank you. Thank you, Omega. These are words that people don't want to hear said anymore. You guys don't know. And That man read that man's credentials. It was 7 minutes long. No, it wasn't. It was like 3 minutes long. It was at the 7-minute mark. But it was a lot. I bet you nobody in this chat can even name one of his credentials. By heart. By heart. I'm not talking about going back, scrolling back, checking back. We don't do that. It don't really matter. But I guarantee you, his credentials were so obscure to us that all we could do in his presence is listen and take notes. These motherfuckers don't want to listen. Y'all's feelings are hurt because it's coming to a head. But Riley Rogers took office and said this shit was coming. Said the shit was going to come to a head. Said that the village had been running a deficit of $3 million every single year since 2015. (2013). Thank you, Trina. I got you. Since 2013.
Mr. Former Mayor, do you see how in one sentence people could take things wrong? That man didn't mean Mr. Kankar. He did not mean
Thank you, Chew.
that the paramedics are a luxury, as in that was his personal opinion.
See, the thing is, when you have lived in a place where you had to pay extra money just to have a kitchen in your home, or that when you go to the hospital, you got to pay extra money for new needles. I've lived in one of the poorest places in the world that didn't even know it was poor. China. And the standard of living is so low there. So low. That I had to really understand what a luxury was. I don't have a dishwasher in my home now, which to a lot of people would drive them fucking nuts. I don't have a washer or dryer in my home right now. That would drive most people absolutely fucking nuts. But I've learned how to live a little bit closer to that way to maintain my beautiful budget. Because there are a lot of things that we've gotten used to in America that are absolute luxuries, like having a vehicle. The average person in China would say, we're even dumb to even own a vehicle. What for? You can take the bus anywhere you got to go. I told y'all they put toilet paper in the trash can so they don't damage the sewer system. Like the standard of living and the way things are done there is so on a lower scale. I'm not saying I brought all those ways back with me. I flushed my toilet paper. But no, you're good, Choose. I'm not criticizing you. You did a good job. Please don't take notes on yourself. You did a great job. I know you'll go, but this is probably the first time you've seen this. That's probably why you tripping. When I watch stuff with y'all, it'd be the first time I saw it too. So I understand where you're coming from. You are artists and you sensitive about your shit. I'm not criticizing you. I'm not even. I think you did an amazing job and I'm proud of you. And I would hope that you're proud of yourself because we are all very proud of you. But I also understand sitting back, taking notes on myself because I do it too, honey. All day, every day, baby. I don't know if Skunkworks is throwing shade or not, but I don't like you coming in here and not saying hello. Skunkworks, that's stinky. I gotta go ahead and kick you out of here if you didn't already remove your own comment. Because I don't like rude stuff. I'd be nice to you. You could at least be nice to me. Because you don't want to see that other side. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you, Omega. So weird. It's weird behavior. Anyway, man, whenever I troll the Dolton Politics group, because I do, and whenever I troll the Dolton Trustees Facebook, YouTube page, because I do, it's always with facts. It's always with facts. It's always with substantive questions, intelligentsia. Anyway, y'all, let's continue.
We said it's a luxury for the
Much love
state.
to you
Do
too.
you know how many cities don't have money for paramedics?
I know
Y'all
too.
gotta listen. I declare y'all gotta listen.
It would be under receivership at that point. They come in and determine who should be here and who should not be here. In some cases, they say, okay, we'll keep the mayor, the police chief, and the fire chief. Everybody else is expendable.
So what he's doing right now is he's telling you what you should expect. Now, from what Trina Downs told us, that they're already under receivership. He said they might decide to keep the mayor, the fire chief, and the police chief. Everybody else is expendable. Now, first of all, Riley Rogers, why would you use words like expendable in front of these people? You're talking about them, their jobs, and how they feed their children. How Mary gets her hair cut. You don't understand, Riley Rogers, how disgusting you are to listen to sometimes. How dare you sit here in front of these people who work hard, look at Jason House, being like, nigga, what did you just say? How could you use the word expendable when you're talking about people and the jobs that they've been doing for decades? It's crazy to me. But no, they could actually decide to get rid of the mayor too, Riley Rogers. Or maybe God did that. Or they could actually decide to get rid of the fire chief and the police chief too. It depends on who takes over. If they take over for the legislative body or the government, they'll take over the mayor. So yeah, you're gonna go. If they take over for the police, then they take over the chief. If they take over the schools, they take over the superintendent. If they take over the fire, then they take over the chief. It depends on who they take over. So don't just make it sound like in most cases, these three positions stay and everybody else got to go. No, that's not true, because you could go too, Riley Rogers, or we could just take you. We already did that.
They bring their people in and they determine how the village is run. And that's what we're trying to avoid.
Actually, what's going to happen? We're still going to be in a hole.
Oh, you're going to be in a hole
So,
for 4 or 5 years until this gets straightened out.
Yep.
That's correct.
okay, and if the community continue to increase foreclosures,
Now, he said 4 or 5 years. I said 100. I'm going to go with what he said because he's the expert. But shoot, I would still be banking on the mother 96.
because people can't afford to pay their taxes. You know, I don't see a solution here. I just don't see it.
I will tell you that the numbers for the loss in your tax collections don't reflect the downtrend.
Didn't this man just say what the solution was? Even though I don't agree with it, that's the solution. So why would you say you don't see a solution here? Like he just brought you up here and invited you to share your opinion. Like he said, ma'am, I don't know exactly what to do in this situation and I need your advice. So can you please come to the meeting tonight and share your ideas? That's not what he said. He said what the solution was. He said to raise the taxes by 3.8% more right now, immediately, and to take out a loan. And you're saying you don't see the solution here. That's the fucking solution. The man said it. Him and Dan Lee argued about it for 5 minutes, 3 minutes. That's the solution. Man, it's right there. He said it. I don't like it either. But how long are we going to keep talking about Dolton? Dolton. Shit. Get a fucking grip.
Like you say, in downtrend economic values, it's been steady in the 85 to 86% range after a year for the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't changed much.
So it hasn't changed. And
what's dangerous, I'm going to go a little bit further because I like what you said. What's dangerous about what Riley Rogers did? See, Riley Rogers operates very tyrannically. Who said it? Well, I'm going to straighten that out tomorrow. No, you don't do that. You just straighten it out right now with the person you're talking to. Riley Rogers is a square-headed bully, but he was in law enforcement, so you never know. He might have caught some of that. Like marry Avon. But he just caused the panic. He put everybody in a position where they feel like they got to protect their own neck and control and save themselves. Very Maoish, very Stalinish, very communist. He put them in a position very dictatorial. He put them in a position where they're all scrambling in the back of their heads to save this village and take out this loan, because that's what he really wants them to do, raise the taxes and take out the loan so he can run off with some more money, allegedly. Oops, sorry.
And shout out Billie Holiday. God bless. Hold on that.
And
Continue to come.
Well, I mean, the good thing about seniors is they're eligible for all types of tax postponements, tax exemptions,
which cause people like myself taxes to go up because I don't qualify for those exemptions.
Wow.
That nigga just thought she was an elder. That ain't his fault. You look old as fuck. That nigga said the good thing about being old as shit is at least you can get some discounts. She said, wait a minute, sir. I'm not that old. He said, oh. Well, you're not aging very well drinking that Dolton water.
You know.
Hold on. You see how contradictory y'all are? Now you came at him. I don't want to say acting like, because it could have been sincere. So you want to know and make sure the seniors are okay. He said, hey, they're going to be okay. You turn around and say, oh, well, basically what you're saying is the seniors going to be okay on my back? On my taxpayer? Oh, no. Oh, no. That's what you're saying. That's what you're asking now. Right. Wait a minute. This is what villages are for. You can't put in a little extra taxes to help your senior citizens that y'all care about, that y'all say nobody cares about. But this part I did not understand. I thought it was very genuine. Like, what about our seniors? And it's like, oh shoot, well, they got exemptions and they got this and they got that. And it was immediately, well, I don't have that, and it's on my tax-paying dollars. Come on now, can't be on both sides of the fence.
I understand
the
that.
professionals. I'm saying,
No.
have you viewed it? You only telling me about taxes. Have you even looked at anything else?
Yes.
Okay, what other things have you viewed that might help us offset raising the taxes 4%? That might not be 4%. Maybe you may raise it 1%. What other?
You raised the water and sewer bills.
Wait a minute. I just want to break this behavior down for a second. This woman is having a temper tantrum. This woman is doing exactly what my 7-year-old does when she says, but mom, and I'm like, hold up, chill out, I'm speaking. What other decisions have you made besides thinking about grounding me? What other options do we have? Little girl, that's the only option, you getting grounded. She wants to discuss, she's wasting this man's time. I mean, her tone is so, is it the word petulant, impetulant? I don't know. But she sounds like a 12-year-old right now. I mean, what other things are there that we can do besides raising the taxes? Move.
I understand
The
that.
professionals. I'm saying,
No.
have you viewed it? You only telling me about taxes. Have you even looked at anything else?
Yes.
Okay, what other things have you viewed that might help us offset raising the taxes 4%? That might not be 4%. Maybe you may raise it 1%. What other?
You raised the water and sewer bills. You have the lowest rate around 20 municipalities in this area. Your rate is so low, it's ridiculous.
And what?
So
how are
raise that up there.
How are our finances being utilized?
Pardon?
How are our finances? How can we find out how the money's that's
You're asking the wrong person that. Your mayor's sitting right in front of you.
coming in being utilized? They have us. You already said it was just properties that are vacant, maybe well, how many percent? Maybe 90 houses. How many houses are empty that's causing this deficit? What other things are causing deficit in our revenue that's coming in? Because I pay almost $6,000 in taxes. That's a lot of money. And now you're going to take it up to $10,000. How am I going to live?
Attorney Kinkar, her concern too, we can answer that. She says she pays approximately $6,000 a year in real estate taxes. How much of an increase would she actually see approximately?
If she has,
If some of you have those charts that we passed out, you can take a look. So you can.
she would have an increase of $230.
So it won't go up to 10,000.
$230.
She thought it would go up to 10,000.
Yes.
Just so we put clarity.
It's $230 based upon $6,000 property tax. It's $230 annually.
Yes.
It equates to 64 cents a day and $19 a month.
So that's assuming that all the ordinances are passed. So that's assuming everything. It's assuming everything.
Okay. So I like when people break down numbers because you see how people can think one thing. Now this lady, I'm not speaking about her or anything. I'm just saying she genuinely thought that her taxes were going to go from $6,000 a year to $10,000 a year. This was a very valid way to break that down, so you don't have misunderstandings. People tend to not listen even when you're getting the facts. That was a very good fact.
But wait a minute. That puts an emotional value on the information. Whether or not it's 6,000 or $6, is that what should be happening? Is that the right thing to do? I really do believe the best thing for Dolton to do is let the state take over. Why do you think Jason House was mayor pro tem for 24 hours? He said there are some things that may need to be signed. We need a mayor pro tem. She said they trying to strong arm me and I won't go. He said there's some things that need to be signed. See, Brittany was talking about the mayor getting her makeup done and starting meetings on time. But Jason said there's some things that need to be signed. And Kiana Belcher voted president. Because I don't think Kiana Belcher is a fan of giving over the village. But Tim B. Brown says sometimes you got to give something to get something because, you know, I'm unattractive. You must be watching, Tammy. You ain't got shit else to do. No, you really don't. Go to Ross and check out the athleisure wear aisle. Ooh, that's nice. Chuck would have liked that. Chuck should have married you. He would have if he loved you. But anyway, more on Chuck later. Trina said they raised the taxes and levied the state taxes since 2017 at 4.99. They also raised the sewage from $2.81 to $18. And we all know about the corrupt water bill. See, that's what I'm saying. It really doesn't matter if it's $6 or 64 cents. Is it the right thing to do? I really just think it's best to just let it burn. There's a reason why I can't remember how to sing that song right now because it's definitely in my head. Let the bitch burn. Let it burn. Y'all leave. Get up. See, what helped with East St. Louis was people started leaving. And when people started leaving, it made it easier because they were basically now managing a ghost town. And that's easier for the state can actually turn it around quicker if there's nobody there to get in the way. You see? So I'm for it. Shit. I keep trying not to care if I'm for it or against it, but I'm definitely for it. And I
didn't
think
receive.
the honest thing to do, because when they were closing down the projects in Charlotte, North Carolina, I was a part of a project that helped people transition out of the projects mentally. Mentally, we prepared people to live in different kinds of neighborhoods that weren't the project. And I think sometimes the best thing to do is to prepare the people for this exodus, this transition, these things. Give them an option to sell their house. Give them an option to, do a short sale on their home, or instead of teaching them about life insurance so you can sell your own product, Brittany Norwood, maybe it'd be better if you take some of your real estate knowledge and teach them how to sell their home without an agent so they can save on that 6% commission. But you're not going to do that because you won't even teach the kids how to fill out a college application or a FAFSA.
A scale. So I'm interested in $13,000 a year taxes. How much would that increase? If you
13, you just add up 6 and 7 together, so that would be $498.
$13,000.
If I can just comment
Go
briefly.
ahead, trustee.
I think the way, or at least the way I look at it, is that our tax level represents what we want our service level to be, because we do have to make sure that we have enough services, and the feedback is great because Chief Collins needs more officers, and we all want to see our streets safer, as well as we need more firemen, we need more public works. So there's a lot of things that we need, and we just recognize that there has to be a delicate balance.
Jason sound like Michael Jackson. I want to speak to this comment that Douglas just made. The last part in particular, the middle sentence. I don't want to say that out loud because that's not anything I would ever say for myself. And the reason why it's important that I say that is because you can do anything you put your mind to. Many of these people were stuck in the ghettos of Chicago and worked their way, got their way, mentally fixed their way out of the ghettos of Chicago. Now they're in another ghetto. And they can do it again. They can do it again. Okay? So I do believe that anything can be done. Some of these people are sending their kids to college and never understood how they'd be able to do it. But you can do anything you put your mind to. And that's why I don't need a bunch of potions or crystals, Ron T. That's why your stereotypical tropes about a person who does tarot cards don't work with me, because I am God. I don't worship the devil. That's my nigga. That's my colleague. Just like Jehovah. Just like Oshun. Just like Lakshmi. Just like Kali. That's my colleague. And I'm highly offended that anyone would say I worship the devil, because you're disrespecting me religiously. At least take some time to understand. If you're going to criticize me religiously, at least be criticizing the correct thing. Shout outs to anybody who does worship Satan. That's on you. That's up to you. But I'm just not built to worship anyone. I am. I just want to clear that up.
Balance of what's the right tax level, compare that with what our service levels we expect. So as a representative, we want to know what everybody's feedback is, but we also we have to recognize that not doing a tax increase affects the amount that we are able to provide in terms of service. And of all things, we definitely do not want the state to make those decisions for us, because they have no clue about our town, our neighborhoods, and what's going on.
Jason said that because he was told to. Look at his face. He got the same face he had when Jedediah tried to run up and almost got hit flat by pressure. Jason House didn't want to say that. He said that because the mayor told him to. He said that because the mayor told him to. He said that because the mayor told him to. Okay? Keep that in mind. Jason don't believe what he just said. You can look at him and tell. So I'm not even mad at you for that part. I'm mad at you for being a pussy. I told y'all Jason House wanted power, but he didn't learn how to get it through being developed, through operating in different works. Jason House got power by kissing ass. I said it. So the same way you get it is going to be the same way you got to work to keep it. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. When you get power by saying what the mayor wants you to say, Tammy Brown, then you're always going to do it, but you wouldn't do it for Tiffany. Why not? Why wouldn't you do it for Tiffany? Because you have a vengeance for Riley Roger. You got to, I agree with what Shay said. That's why I love hearing the perspectives of men, because men be watching like war movies and kung fu shit, so they understand strategy a little differently than those of us who don't really get into a whole lot of that stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? When you talk to somebody who watches war movies for fun and shit like that, then you get to hear the way shit works. And I heard Shay say last night that Ed Steve and Jason House are still angry with Tiffany for taking Riley Rogers' job. And they feel like they got to get her back. So you can't really trust anything Jason House says, because he works for someone at all times. He works for someone at all times. He is not. Remember, he's the one that talked everybody into Lori Lightfoot. And I said, I believe Lori Lightfoot was Bert Olson's idea. And then Bert Olson said Lori Lightfoot was his idea. Jason will never run Dolton. Dolton will always be run by Riley Roger and Bert Olson as long as they live. Jason don't even really have any connections like that. He's gotten more awards in the last 30 days than he got all his life. And he don't really have any real political connections like that. He will always be the puppet of Riley Rogers and Bert Olson. And Mary Avon is going to try to control him a little bit with her money, but they're going to do exactly what a lot of us do and act like they didn't get your email. Because they just don't feel like dealing with it. They put Mary and Valerie in a position along with Sherry, and they call them advisors to the trustees. But what they really do is just let them talk. They meet every Monday morning or something for coffee somewhere and whisper like they doing something and bring up dumb shit like Jedediah Brown. I don't even know whose fucking idea he was. See, the thing is, y'all brought in Jedediah Brown to distract everybody, and all you did was show who you really are. Because some behaviors go along with other behaviors. And when we see one thing, we know what's behind that. So when I saw Jedediah at the door calling Trina Downs all kind of bad words and disrespecting women and shit, I was like, oh, that dude was brought in. When I noticed that he didn't come to the protest, he said he came to support. And as a matter of fact, there wasn't a protest. I was like, oh, okay, that dude was brought in. I know what that looks like when somebody's brought in. And then he was able to go in and out of the building, and he had that conversation with Lacey. And Lacey was like, get them niggas together. Hurry the fuck up. I was like, oh, yeah, that nigga brought in. He brought in. Don't let me find out. I'm going to keep that part to myself. All right, let's continue. We're almost out of here, y'all.
I agree. Trustee House, I agree with that. They absolutely don't. But here we are. Here we are.
Now, wait a minute, Jason. This man
Lisa.
just told everybody that if the state takes over, you're expendable, and you still fought for him and said that shit for him. I don't understand that. I'm trying to get us back to the right spot. Why not the state take over so that Valerie Stubbs can go color match so she can wear the right color lipstick instead of looking like that? Valerie Stubbs looks like a toe. It's gotten worse and worse over the years. I recommend is it Lamisil? I recommended that to one of my clients once. He had this really bad fungus on his big toe. Yeah, Lamisil. That shit did wonders. But you know what? I would also maybe recommend it. I don't give these kind of tips out often, Valerie. So, it's the God in me. Hey, Trey Denny. I would also recommend some Aquaphor for you as well.
Compare that with what our service levels we expect. So as a representative, we want to know what everybody's feedback is, but we also we have to recognize that not doing a tax increase affects the amount that we are able to provide in terms of service. And of all things, we definitely do not want the state to make those decisions for us because they have no clue about our town, our neighborhoods, and what's going on.
Now, what you're going to find out is they have a lot of secret squirrel meetings in Dolton. I heard you, Tiffany. You have them too. I've seen you there. So don't get all excited. Calm down, little niglet. Calm down, little niglet. How could Jason House have brought this to you and spoken so knowledgeably about it if this was the very first time he heard this information right along with you? That's because I'm gonna tell you why their voices get shaky. It's because Ryden Roger is a bully, and Jason is scared of him. In my opinion, they had to have. I mean, you see Valerie over here nodding her head. They had a whole quiet, private meeting. They haven't told y'all anything about it. And they came here deciding to do this, just like with Lori Lightfoot. Jason House said, we want to know what you think. We want your feedback, but please know that we're going to raise these damn taxes.
Well, I agree. Trustee House, I agree with that. They absolutely don't. But here we are. Here we are. Seven years later? Yeah. Here we are, almost 17 years later, and this is what's happening. So then you look at the Democratic state-wide party. Who are the connections that Mr. Reed was talking about? I mean, y'all are rich for now. Sad.
Thank you, Trustee House. That's exactly what I wanted to hit on a little bit is the services, because right now I think we're operating on a deficit budget, are we not?
Yes.
And having said that, if you had a deficit, then immediately in my
2017, there was a deficit before Tiffany Henyard was the mayor. So here's the second instance of us knowing that it's not just Tiffany. She is part of a corrupt culture. It ain't just Tiffany.
my mind, something's got to give. I understand that you all have been doing cutbacks and asking people to take days off, and that still obviously isn't coming close to balancing the budget. I think we've had requests from both the police officers and the fire department to hire more people because it's becoming, I think they use an unsafe situation, okay? And I want to live in a safe town. I certainly don't want to see a tax increase. However, having been here for over 30 years, how could we not have had one? Right. Because we should have had one a long time ago. If we just look at the numbers, we should have had one. And maybe if we had it at the proper time, we wouldn't be talking the numbers we're talking now. That's correct. But also, you know, I think that for a long time, anytime I got a tax bill, I would get upset at the village, because how dare the village raise the taxes? But I think what we forget is that one very important point that was stated here today is that the village is only 28% of your tax bill. You have other taxing agents. A point that was made that kind of went, but we need to start taking that on and look at it is, if the school district is hiring another person for $100,000, every year the school district has a tax levy. Each school district. And most of them, it's an increase in taxes. I'll talk about District 205 and know a little bit about that. You're paying right now back $30 million.
Wow.
That was borrowed last year.
District
That no one knows
205.
anything about, because you don't see it as an increase on your bill, but you didn't see it as a decrease because they just finished paying off one. Okay, so a $50 million debt. Now we're going into a $30 million debt, and that's not going to touch what District 205 really needs. They're probably going to look at another $30 million. But what I'm saying is that we have to take all these things in consideration, because if the school districts didn't tax, then maybe we would have more money here in the village to, you know, from your taxes to do things that need to be done. So I don't want to see a tax increase because I want to fix income, and it's going to hurt. But if I got to live here, I want to live in a village that I've been living in for 30-some years that I've come accustomed to. I hate to think about us not getting things done. We've got to, and this is no dig toward anybody. Everybody knows I don't play politics. I'm not for this one. I'm not for that one. I'm for all you all, because you all have to work as a team. Our infrastructure is terrible. I mean, these streets have potholes in it, and they're just caving in. And I know that in order to do that, you need money. Okay. If I got to live in a village, I want to live in a nice village. So it sounds like the attorney put it, pay me now, pay me later. There's no choice. You know, if this is what we have to do to get it going, okay. And nobody better say anything about this. I'll cut back on a meal. Okay.
I was going to say that.
I'll do that.
I was going to say it.
To try to get things done. Okay. But what we've got to do, and it's imperative that we start doing it, not tomorrow, right now, today. All of us have to work together. We talk about accountability. Yeah, I'm going to hold everybody up here accountable, but they have to hold us accountable as well. So with the accountability piece, please, you all, from here on out, don't play politics. If we need a tax increase, don't say, well, I may not get a vote. Tell us the truth. Just tell us where we are. We're, you know, I'm a big boy. No comment. Okay. And I can take it. I may not like it, but if that's what it is, that's what it is. And right now, you know, and I heard all the suggestions, but all the suggestions seem to be not enough to really get where we need to be. So I'm just hopeful that now that we see that things, if we don't get involved, can fall apart, you all, us, all of us, have to start holding our school districts accountable as well. Okay? We got to hold them accountable as well, because, you know, you weren't asked to vote on that $30 million. They just did.
Right.
Okay? And they can do it again.
Right.
And again. And again. And what's that $100,000 person doing? How is that transcending to the classroom and a better education for our kids? So yes, I'm holding you accountable, but I hold the school district accountable too. Why? Because I want you to hold me accountable for me doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm upset, and I'm not upset, because this tax increase should have been talked about.
Oh, is that Edward Creighton? Is that Miss Creighton?
Wow.
That's wait a minute, Big Mike, you right on time.
Floor's been closed. The mayor read.
Wait, Big Mike, is that the lady that you were saying you would vote for trustee or mayor? Would you say her name was Felicia Creighton? Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you got to see them. That's beautiful. Oh, I know that that he was a very powerful and important person in your community. So rest in power, sir. And I send strength and everything good and everything nice to his wife. Very good. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys said that. Wow. I had a feeling about that. I was going to ask you guys, to be honest with you. Y'all know I'm a little different. I was going to ask you guys if he was still with us. Because I had a feeling about that. So thank you for confirming that for me. Oh, his funeral was at the school. Wow. That's huge. Wow. Yeah, I had a feeling that he had gone on. Something about him seemed past. But his energy is beautiful. What was his name? Edward Creighton. Very good. Mr. Creighton, thank you so much for making your presence known here. This is a safe place for good energy. That's beautiful. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys got to have that
Ordinance A. My suggestion is, in light of Vince's comments regarding that this is really a package, I'll read the title of the other ordinances and then any objection to an omnibus vote, single vote on the measures?